Oh, well, there you have it, folks. First accident of this year. Last winter it happened when I was shoveling snow and I hit something. I think it was the first snow of the winter. I got so excited and I dug my shovel in to the ground by accident, hit some bulb grass, and it just snapped my wrist back, and I couldn't even lift a glass of water for weeks after that. This time it happened snowmobiling. First snowmobile trip of the year. You could see in the last vlog that I brought it over. Yesterday I thought it was a good idea to finally go and make some snowmobile tracks so that we could also go walk on it, because it's starting to get a bit warmer again now. We're gonna have a week of rather warm weather above freezing point, and it means the snow will melt a little bit on top and then harden again the next frost comes. So I took, I don't know, a few kilometers trip, a trip that I was used to, and on the way back, I mean, I know I have to be careful because it's fresh snow, and that means that with a heavy snowmobile, of course, you sink into the snow much more. It's very fluffy and you can't see what's underneath the snow, so there can be lots of things hidden, rocks and tree stumps, and if you hit those with your snowmobile, it can hurt yourself. And that's why they say as well, I think, that you should be loose on the snowmobile, not sit so tense. You tend to not go with the flow of the tracks, and probably can hurt yourself when you do hit one of these obstacles. And so I was doing all that, going slowly, even on the way back, even though I'd already made the track, of course, on the way there. But at some point I saw a tree still left behind, the tree top of a tree that I had cut last year, and I remembered, oh yeah, I have to take that this season and make wood chips out of all the branches that are left on it. And it was maybe 2 seconds that I looked to the left, and that's when suddenly something hit me so hard on the right. The steering wheel of the snowmobile snapped back against me, and it all went black. All I could feel was this sharp shooting pain in my shoulder, and I felt it try to pop out of its socket. It didn't all the way, it stayed in, but I felt it almost get out. And suddenly I was on the snow next to the snowmobile, which was also on its side, and was really flung from it, it seems. The reason why I knew that it hadn't popped out is, well, first I could move it, and it is something you'd notice. I know because I used to dislocate this shoulder a lot when I was playing squash, and in those days I dislocated maybe 50 times before I finally got an operation. It took about maybe a year for it to recover, to have no pain at all, and to have proper freedom of movement. Hey! Hey! You want to join as well, Yasmin? All the family awake. Sorry. There goes the ice pick. Oh yeah, so. Yeah. Yeah, so that was a keyhole surgery that I had at the time, and it did an amazing job because I've never had any issues with it. Of course, the recovery process was long, but it's totally worth it, because that was quite annoying, dislocating your shoulder every time and having to put it back in, and having to put it back in yourself. Yeah, ga maar zwaaien. Hello, wave to the people. Hello. Yeah, so when I was lying out there in the deep snow, I of course was in serious pain, but the most prevalent thought that I had going on in my mind was, what now with the Homestead? I mean, I thought, of course, it is something that I'll recover from, but at that moment you don't know how bad the damage is and how long it's going to take to recover. And so that was quite a scare. After that, the next thing I thought, of course, is I need to get home before the pain starts to get worse and after the adrenaline wears off. The next thing was to put the snowmobile back straight up. It's quite a heavy machine, but thank God I had just changed the spark plugs in it, so it gave enough power. I only had to move it a little bit at an angle, give it some gas, and it straightened itself out. Got back on it and just drove really carefully back home. When I got up, I saw that what had caused this problem was a massive rock, maybe boulder, sticking out from the ground, which I had hit with the right ski of the snowmobile. And because that hit it, I was looking that way, that smashed this steering wheel, of course, because that's where the ski was. It smashed this steering wheel right, blam, and because I was tense and looking that way, it smashed this whole arm and thus the shoulder back. And no, that's how you dislocate a shoulder, folks. So I managed to get the snowmobile back home safely and myself. No damage was done to the snowmobile. That's a plus. It was maybe 500 meters from home. Last winter I also got stuck there with an old snowmobile which was not made for this type of terrain, as in deep snow and no prepared tracks. When I got stuck I had to walk home through more than a meter of snow. So more like crawl home, which took me more than an hour as the darkness was setting in and no water. I'd forgotten to take water with me. I did tell Carol I had my phone with me, so that was good. So I managed to at least tell her that I was gonna be a while. 500 meters took me over an hour and I came home nice and sweaty and very thirsty. This time was not so bad because I could at least drive back home on the snowmobile, but I got home damaged. Yeah, so the first thing I did when I got home was tell Caroline to get the ice pack out, and my dearest Amber held it on my shoulder. But as I was lying there, I was not worried about the pain. It's something I'm used to, but I was really more worried about the ability to move my arm and to be able to lift things and to move properly. And I mean, how am I gonna scythe 1.5 hectares of pastures, you know? Of course, these things are all possible to do with the machinery that we have nowadays, but it will require quite a bit of an investment to get to that stage, and I was quite enjoying the physical labor. But okay, there are always possibilities. There are no problems, only solutions. But at that moment, it's hard to think optimistic when flashbacks of dislocated shoulders and months and years of recovery are going through your mind. The next thing to get at ease of mind would be to get it checked out. Now we have a local hospital. It's not really a hospital because they don't have really the machinery that you would normally have in a hospital to do scans or x-rays and things like that. But they certainly have professionals that can help you. So maybe it's more like an health center. And these people could then at least maybe have a quick first look at what it is, and then if they really think that there might be further damage, then they could send me on to the hospital in Lycksele, which is about an hour and a half away from here. Which I would be happy to do because, like I say, I'd be happy to find out if there was really any damage done on the inside, and then I know what I'm facing. For now, I'm just going to keep putting ice on it, taking a couple of painkillers a day, which are also anti-inflammatory, just in case there is an inflammation, that it stops that. Well, things like this certainly show how often things go right, because one mistake like this and it can be a huge setback on your homestead. I guess luckily enough we're in winter and the biggest jobs were of course happening in the summer, but now Caroline has to do all the homesteading jobs, and I mean, of course I can go to the animals and check for eggs and put some hay on the troughs for the sheep, but I can't go up the ladder and chuck some hay bales down for the sheep. That's something she will have to do now every day. It's just good, gives her a workout. But that's beside taking the care of the kids and the house. It's of course a rather stressful time when these things happen. It recently happened when Caroline did her back in moving all this firewood, and then the other person has to take care of the jobs that person was doing. You also suddenly realize that you're both very busy people. You suddenly appreciate what the other person has been doing. I knew from the start that being out here in the middle of nowhere was gonna bring that danger with it, but if there's something serious that happens to you, they will come with a helicopter and pick you up. This day and age of communication, you take a phone with you, we've got walkie-talkies, you're always within reach of the next person that can call for help, if you can't call for help yourself directly. However, it certainly makes you appreciate being able-bodied, because now I'm going to find out how often I use my right hand and how terrible I am at using my left hand with everything. Luckily enough, I can still move it a little bit, not every direction. Some are worse than others. I think that the second thought I probably thought of was, can I go to the toilet and take care of myself there? Which I did this morning and I could. So Caroline was also very happy to hear that. She was not looking forward to doing that for me. For the next vlog, I think there might be a few more stills than usual. If this recovers quickly, then slaughtering our roosters is next, because these guys are going through a whole lot of feed, and for what? I think they have reached their full mature size by now. We also need to make wood chips to put in the chicken coop with a fresh layer on there. For that I was going to use the snowmobile and the sledge that I made last season for holding wood with, because there's a whole bunch of branches but everything is under the snow, so then it's nice and easy to just drive there with the snowmobile, attach it with a ratchet, bring it back and chuck it in the wood chipper. So we'll be seeing how the next few days goes and how quickly I recover from this unfortunate accident. Thanks for watching and see you at the next vlog.